Hello, welcome back. Tonight, I'm going to be touching on something, and that has just come up. Just recently, I made an announcement that I would be going into the industry. Now, I made a lot of statements about who I was and what I had planned on accomplishing down here. Now, someone on a mission like that, you don't see the industry as a viable path. But I beg to differ. I've seen some, let's just say, some very powerful energy that's being manipulated down here in the industry. And the people who are behind it, they're very good because they're moving in a way that's spiritual. A lot of times people don't understand, that the world is set up in a duality and the energy can be manipulated. And when I say energy, I'm talking about creating situations which they use to manipulate people. There's different terminologies for this. One of them is, an urban slang is sort of like spirit cooking. You start putting stuff together and, you manipulate the outcome. You're playing with the energy, just like putting different seasonings in a pot and whipping it up. And at the end of it, let's see what we got. They're doing that, but they have, instead of just guessing at what they're going to get, they have mastered this recipe for doing this manipulation, and it's quite effective. You see this thing played out all the time, and they just sit back and watch it. When you wake up to this and you see how they're doing it, it's very powerful. Now, look, let me give you an idea. It's kind of hard trying to get people to understand the type of reality they're in. Now, as you can see, playing behind me is a very iconic movie. It's The Matrix. Now, this particular movie, is about a man who wakes up in a simulation. He wasn't where he thought he was. And he woke up to this and said he had to do something about it. He had to make a change. Now, what I'm experiencing here, and a lot of you may be experiencing this or seeing this. Now, I want you to imagine Mr. Neo or Mr. Anderson trying to explain this to the rest of the sleeping world. Think about that. How hard would it be for Neo to explain to the rest of the world what was going on? Man, how hard would that be? How hard would that be? As you can see, there have been several illustrations of Neo who quite possibly tried it that way. Look, we have a Neo here who, instead of, let's just say he was, whatever way the Neo made it to the next level in the Matrix, whatever way he did, he progressed. He said there were 7 illustrations before him, maybe more, maybe less. But each one of those illustrations had showed each one of them doing it their own different way, their own way. And they always made it to the point where they got to meet what is portrayed here as the architect, as the creator. He made it to it. This was the creator. This was the image that they used to show as the creator of the whole Matrix. Neo made it to him face to face. Now, would he have been able to do that if he's just sat around and talked the people that were asleep, waiting on someone else to do it. Now, me personally, I've seen a lot of that. No one willing to get down and dirty with it and do their own spirit cooking. This is what's being played out here. See, which makes me the anomaly is I know how to spirit cook too. And I'm quite effective at it. And look, how I managed to do this was what you see playing behind me right now. You know, just recently, I just got some slack for, guess what? This picture behind me of Mr. Anderson or John Wick. Coincidentally, it's the same character who plays Neo in The Matrix. Now, if you look at Mr. Neo and Mr. John Wick, you'll see some similarities in these characters that are quite unique. And let me give you one. Things just manage to go their way. Now, what would you call that? On a spiritual level, and these are who I'm talking to, understand that that's a spirit moving through that person. And they're showing that with John Wick and Mr. Neo. It's a spirit moving, and you can't kill off. He just reappears in different movies. He just keeps moving on. It's something about, it's a character, but not just a character, it's a concept that I need you to wake up to. They have the best soldiers out here in a role of playing teacher. Wake up to that. And they have masterfully done it. No, I've struggled so much on trying to get people to understand where we're at and just how deep it is. This Matrix is a real thing and is being played out every day. Now let me explain. You know, the Matrix, it was a heartless beast. It didn't have a face. It did not have a face. You know, you had a couple of characters come out who, let's just say, giving a message. They had their own prophets. You had Neo, whatever the Matrix was, Neo was representing an opposite force or an opposite matrix. So those two meet in the most famous scene. And if you notice, they're both wearing black and white. They're wearing black and white, which is talking about duality. But what I need you to get here is Neo, instead of moving through this thing, trying to teach, he went in and actually went face to face with this beast right here, the architect. He was heartless. He had no problem in destroying anything. He was willing to destroy the whole thing and start over in a distressed place with his creation. He was willing to do that. He didn't care about any of this. But these two came together for the betterment of keeping this thing going, because if not, this whole thing would have been reset and everybody would have lost out. What you're seeing here was a compromise between the two. That's what you're seeing played out here. Now look, this idea or this concept is also relatable to the Bible or the Torah. You're seeing the same concept where God in the Bible or the Torah made a deal with Satan that it was a prophet, and they were able to bring harm to this prophet. He was able to bring harm to this prophet, but he could not kill them. You know, it got to the point that he even asked him to, the prophet, to kill his own son to see if he would obey. God came at the last minute and stopped it, but God allowed all this tribulation to go through this man to see what was going to happen. Spirit cooking. Do you get it? They're playing it out. Now that particular situation that I gave you in the Bible, that has happened numerous times. And what you're seeing here is it playing out right here in the Matrix. This is what's happening here. That's why you see me where I think a lot of the problems are being perpetuated with the spirit cooking. I see a lot of that going on in the industry. I'm going there to face it. I'm going there to face it. I'll leave it at that. Good day.